Hello, and welcome to another Monday Morning Nuggets episode. It doesn't have to be a Monday or a morning as you're listening, but then the name is what the name is. I'm Becca, and here I share quick tips to help reshape your mindset and reinforce a healthy perspective. Side note, a healthy perspective is key, especially when dealing with challenges and staying motivated to keep doing your best. So sit back, enjoy the episode, take notes, and let's dig deep. So before I go on to today's topic, I'd just like to say thank you for all the feedback and support from the previous episode on silence. I wasn't expecting the encouraging words that came after that. So thank you so much. And if you haven't listened to that, please go to Spotify, listen to it and subscribe. So today's topic is on overthinking and how that is a joy killer. So I don't think there's any need for me to go into defining what overthinking is. We already know that. If you're guilty of it, well, it is what it is. If you're not, then I'm really happy for you that you cannot relate. But anyway, I'll just get right into how we're all on this table of overthinking and overprocessing. So overthinking happens in different ways. There's really no particular way to overthink. It's not a one size fits all. You may be an overly analytical person. That's a form of overthinking. You may worry too much about what other people think about you. You may overprocess things from your past and keep replaying things you could have done differently. You may be a big picture thinker, which makes you consider different angles of a plan. You may overcalculate when it comes to decision making. You may be extremely cautious from past traumas. You may be prone to anxiety, which floods your mind with worst case scenarios that amp up your anxiety. You may just, there's so many angles to these things. You may be so judgmental of yourself and your thought process and your decision making, and instead of deflecting from thinking, it makes you think more, it makes you process more, it makes you over process everything that happens to you, interactions that you have with other people. In all, though, overthinking can send you down an unending rabbit hole that can steal your joy. So false narratives are fed to you when you're overthinking, which fuels your deepest worries. Issues are bigger in your head than they are in real life, and overthinking makes you feel more pain from a situation than there really is or there really should be, because your body only feels as much pain as your mind tells you that you feel. So this is in terms of not physical pain like physical injury or the likes, in terms of maybe an experience. So two people could experience the same thing and they would have completely different reactions. One person would just, this thing happened and move on. And then another person would just process, overthink, and just think the worst of the entire situation, which would cause more pain and more hurt. So that's a thing. Overthinking slows you down because it impedes your decision-making capabilities. Sometimes it stops you in your tracks and you just feel stuck, because there's a whirlwind of thoughts running through your mind and you can't seem to move forward. You're just stuck in one place thinking about the same thing over and over and over and over again. And then another angle is the what if scenario, which is really crazy. It's a really crazy question where you keep asking, what if this? What if this doesn't work out? What if this is how they feel? What if this? And you haven't even done anything. You haven't tried to move forward, to take a step. You keep getting held back by the what ifs going through your mind, which is not reality. Overthinking doesn't allow you live your life to the fullest because you keep questioning yourself. You keep thinking about other people. You think putting other things before your choices. Overthinking makes you question your value sometimes. It makes you spin stories to confirm your fears, which is never based on reality. Overthinking feeds into self-rejection. And sometimes you find that most problems are never solved with overthinking or overanalysis. So let me give you a few scenarios to contextualize what it is I'm trying to say when it comes to overthinking. So imagine someone does something sweet or thoughtful for you, but instead of objectively looking at what was needed, like your need, and then the act that came afterwards, you start to overprocess the moment. You think, oh, did she really do it from her heart? Was he just showing off? Did he just do it because it was convenient? Did she do it to prove that she was better than me? Did she do it because she feels sorry for me? And it's so sad. I could go on and on about the different thoughts that could sprout from this. But it's just so sad because in that moment, you've robbed yourself of savoring a kind gesture done to you. And you've diminished the gravity of gratitude that the other person deserves. So instead of being in the moment and just accepting, oh, you did this. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet of you. You start thinking, oh, he wants this from me. He wants more. He wants that. She wants this. Oh, she's only doing this so that tomorrow she can ask. It doesn't matter. Be present in the moment and just say thank you. Enjoy the gesture. Appreciate that you're worth the effort. Whether or not it was convenient or they had to go out of their way is irrelevant. Just say thank you. Sometimes just stop, breathe, say thank you, and think nothing more of it. And then have you been in a place where you said something that didn't go well? Maybe it was an interview or interaction with someone really important, and you didn't like how the conversation went? And then you spend hours or days after that ruminating over what you could have done differently. Or say, let's just conclude that, it didn't go well. The result you were expecting, you didn't get it. And then you just beat yourself up thinking, oh, I should have said this, I should have done that. This is a waste of precious time that you could have spent on something productive. This is a waste of time that eats at your confidence and makes you second guess your thought process moving forward. This is not healthy. Then have you ever been in a situation, a relationship, friendship, even family, where you're constantly over processing what was said, what was not said, how you were called, or whether or not you were called or not called? Did they text? Did they not text? What did this text mean? What did this message mean? What did this gesture mean? Or you're wondering, how they said A, but you feel they meant B, or they were feeling C, but telling you D. And all this just complicates your life. It just makes things so difficult. It robs you of living in the moment and enjoying the other person's company, enjoying the other person's value add, regardless of what tomorrow holds. So in as much as you don't want to waste your time with the wrong people, sometimes being too cautious and being too analytical makes you uptight and steals the joy in the moment, steals the joy from the interaction we have with that person. Now granted, not everybody you meet is meant to, be your husband or be your wife, but there are so many relationships that have been lost because our expectations or the pictures we had of what this person should mean to you just robbed you from a simple interaction that could have grown into a business relationship. It could have grown into a career collaboration or something nice, maybe even an actual relationship. But then you robbed yourself of this beautiful thing because you were just overthinking things or over calculating things. And same thing for the other person, not just you. But anyway, it's really exhausting trying to stay 2 steps ahead. So sometimes just breathe, calm down, and face what is right in front of you. Or are you someone who's burdened by your own conscience and often sent into a spiral of overthinking because of your excessive self-judgment, self-loathing, self-scrutiny? This is not healthy. this is a form of overthinking. And I had a conversation recently where I just came to the conclusion that, you know what, this life is actually not as difficult as we make it out to be. I know saying that is easy. A lot of people say that, but that's really the truth though. Sometimes we get into this point where we feel, oh, at a certain age, therefore we must act a certain way. We must shut ourselves off of experiencing life joyfully because we worry about the future. We worry about how much we have in our bank accounts. We worry about what other people will say. We worry about expectations from family. And then we put limits on ourselves, by no one's prompting. And we say, oh, this is what the society expects. We are the society. You and I make up the society. We create these narratives, these expectations, these limitations ourselves, and limit ourselves. We become overly critical in our thoughts and in our processing of things. We dwell more on things that will never happen or things that have already happened, instead of enjoying the good things that are currently in our grasp, currently existing. We're not grateful for what we have. We're thinking so far into the future, or we're caught thinking about things in the past rather than staying present and just enjoying today. We restrict our options because we worry so much about what other people think about us, and we worry about what their opinions on our choices are. Why? So I'm not trying to be self-righteous and say, oh no, I'm not that person. I'm on this table, we're all on this table, but at the same time, we need to call a spade a spade. This is how we make progress. This is how we change our perspectives, by just being honest. So I asked this question, and I'm going to ask you, and I want you to consider it, and consider what the answer is. So here goes. How often do you think about what other people around you do and what their stories are? Do you spend time sitting and thinking about other people's lives and what's going on with them? Now, if your answer to this question is no, let me even add more context. How often do you think about other people around you? Could be family members, could be people that are really close to you, say close friends, colleagues, and whatnot. How often do you sit down and think, I wonder what this person is doing right now? I wonder what they're all about. I wonder how their decisions are affecting them. I'm so sure, I'm really, really sure that if you're a listener right now, you're probably not that person. Other people like that, that are so nosy, yes, but they're very few. But majority of people really don't care because we're too preoccupied with thinking about our own lives and how to progress. So why do we not extend that grace to how we think other people think about us? Now, if you're someone who worries about other people and what's going on in their lives, you're very nosy and amiable, it's valid that you worry about what they think of you. But if you're on the other end of the spectrum where you really do not care what other people do in their lives, you mind your business, you day your day, you face your issues, and you keep your head in your business. Why do you now put other people's opinions or what you perceive as their opinions about you into consideration when you are living your life? Why can you not extend the grace of assuming that, because I don't care about all these other people and what they do in their lives, therefore I would assume that they don't care what I do in my life, and I'll live my life. At most, I'll become a topic for 2 minutes and everybody will move on. So I would challenge you to shift your perspective and assume that other people's perspectives of you really don't matter because they really don't care. And you stop considering other people when you're making decisions that affect your life and your future and your well-being. Don't feel you always have to explain your choices to other people. Now, it feels nice to carry people along on your thought process and why you're doing what you're doing because, there's some need for some kind of validation or support to know that, you're doing the right thing. But in the real sense of things, you really do not have to explain yourself, especially if you're an adult that is responsible for yourself and your development and your growth, and you're nobody else's responsibility. You really don't have to explain your choices. Now, another thing I find that makes people overthink is their conscience. They crucify themselves over past mistakes and mistakes they may have made today. They brood over it. But then the truth is, this doesn't change what has happened. So why can't we just move on? Why are we so hung up on things we did yesterday? Because no matter how many times or how long you spend brooding over it, worrying over it, beating yourself up, it doesn't change it. It's happened. Let's look ahead. Let's focus on today. Let's be present. Why do I keep saying less? Let's. Anyway, you get the point. Let's, less, all is the same thing. So, imagine you're in a forest. You have no drone or binoculars. So all you see are the trees right in front of you. But you're in a forest, a very thick forest. There's no way you can see the entire forest through the trees. But then you overthinking is like you standing in one spot in a forest and then trying to see the entire forest and create a mental map of where you are and where you should go and all of that. I don't know. Okay, so I kind of heard this analogy, not in this way. It was just talking about overthinking, and then they spoke about a forest, and I just ran with the thought, and it made perfect sense to me. So just imagine yourself standing in a forest trying to find your way out, but then you're so worried about how large the forest is, and you're obsessing over I need to see everything, but then you can't see past what is right before you, what is around you. The only thing you can do is have a practical plan to move forward. Decide that, okay, this is the way I'm going, and as you keep taking each step forward, you're one step closer to getting out of that forest. But overthinking is like standing in one spot and then trying to create a mental map of where you are with no tools to do so, and then just wishfully thinking, you are out of this forest. Oh, I can't wait to leave this forest. Oh, I can't wait to get out. Oh, look at these trees. Oh, what if they are snakes? Oh, what if they are this? Oh, what if they are wild animals? But then you're not moving. You're just standing in one spot and worrying. That is what overthinking does to you. It keeps you stuck. It keeps you overwhelmed. It stops you from progressing. It stops you from growing. It stops you from, thinking big. And we need to work on that because it's not healthy. So you must take one step after another till you find your way out of that forest.